and feeling, then even equanimity ceases. The next sutta is 48.41. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in the eastern park in the mansion of Megara's mother. Megara's mother is a nickname for Visakha. Now, on that occasion, the Blessed One had emerged from seclusion in the evening and was sitting warming his back in the last rays of the sun. That means the sun was setting down, was going down, and the monks came out of seclusion. Then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One. Having approached and paid homage, while massaging the Blessed One's limbs, he said to him, "It is wonderful, Venerable Sir. It is amazing, Venerable Sir. The Blessed One's complexion is no longer pure and bright. His limbs are all flaccid and wrinkled. His body is stooped, and some alteration is seen in his faculties, in the eye faculty, the ear faculty, the nose faculty, the tongue faculty, the body faculty." And the Buddha said, "So it is, Ananda. In youth, one is subject to aging. In health, one is subject to illness. While alive, one is subject to death. The complexion is no longer pure and bright. The limbs are all flaccid and wrinkled. The body is stooped, and some alteration is seen in the faculties, in the eye faculty, ear faculty, nose faculty, tongue faculty, the body faculty." This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One, the teacher, further said, "Fie on you, wretched aging, aging which makes beauty fade. So much has the charming puppet been crushed beneath advancing age. One who might live 100 years also has death as destination. Death spares none along the way, but comes crushing everything." That's the end of the sutta. So you see, when the Buddha was young, he used to constantly meditate and emit a lot of light. That's why his nickname was Angirasa, kinsman of the sun, relative of the sun. The sun is always so bright. But when the Buddha was old, at this time he must have been about 80 years old, then the Buddha is no longer, his complexion no longer pure and bright like before. And his limbs are all his hands and all that are wrinkled, and the skin becomes softer. Body also bent already, like a hunchback, a bit stoop. And in the eye and the ear and nose and tongue and body, all there's some change. Don't look so handsome anymore, the Buddha. So everyone is like that. When we are young, when you are very young, you look, especially like children, they look very cute, everybody. Even puppies also look very cute when they are young. But as we grow older, we start to change. So after 40, then you know, because at the age of about 40, we have this alteration in our eye faculty. Lo fa ngan. We cannot read the newspaper, small letters, to put far away. So after 40, you go downhill very fast. The beauty will fade away and become more and more ugly looking. So even the Buddha is not spared. So if we constantly think of this, then we should quickly use our time, because as we grow older, we become weaker. You see old people, if you go to any meditation center, you see people meditating. Usually it is the old people, the heads will be bent. No strength to meditate. 48.42 at Savatthi. Then the Brahmin Unnaba approached the Blessed One and exchanged greetings with him. When they had concluded the greetings and cordial talk, he sat down to one side and said to the Blessed One, "Master Gotama, these 5 faculties have different domains, different resorts. They do not experience each other's resort and domain. What 5? The eye faculty, the ear faculty, the nose faculty, the tongue faculty, the body faculty. Now, Master Gotama, as these 5 faculties have different domains, different resorts, and do not experience each other's resort and domain, what is it that they take recourse in? This word recourse, and what is it that experiences their resort and domain? This word recourse, this translation is a translation of the Pali word pati saranang. Pati sarana, you see the last word is sarana. Just like we chant Buddhang saranang gacchami, so it's refuge, means a refuge, shelter. So these 5 faculties, they have different, how do you say, fan ui, the resort and domain. But what is it that they take refuge in? What experiences their resort and domain? And the Buddha said, Brahmin, these 5 faculties have different domains, different resorts. They do not experience each other's resort and domain. What 5? The eye faculty, ear faculty, nose, tongue, body faculties. Now, Brahmin, these 5 faculties having different domains, different resorts, not experiencing each other's resort and domain, they take refuge or shelter in the mind, and the mind experiences their resort and domain. So the mind is the one that controls all these 5. But Master Gotama, what is it that the mind takes refuge or shelter in? The mind, Brahmin, takes refuge in, here is his mindfulness, it's a specific mindfulness, actually it's recollection, sati. The mind, Brahmin, takes refuge in sati, recollection. Master Gotama, what is it that sati or recollection takes recourse or refuge in? Recollection, Brahmin, takes refuge in liberation. Master Gotama, what is it that liberation takes refuge in? Liberation, Brahmin, takes refuge in Nibbana. But Master Gotama, what is it that Nibbana takes refuge in or takes shelter in? And the Buddha said, you have gone beyond the range of questioning, Brahmin. You weren't able to grasp the limit to questioning. For Brahmin, the holy life is lived with Nibbana as its ground, Nibbana as its destination, Nibbana as its final goal. Then the Brahmin, Unaba, having delighted and rejoiced in the Blessed One's statement, rose from his seat and paid homage to the Blessed One, after which he departed, keeping him on his right. Then not long after the Brahmin, Unaba, had departed, the Blessed One addressed the monks thus, Monks, suppose in a house or hall with a peaked roof, opposite a window facing east, the sun was rising. When its rays entered through the window, where would they settle? On the western wall, Venerable Sir. So too, monks, the Brahmin Unaba has gained faith in the Tathagata that is settled, deeply rooted, established, firm. It cannot be removed by any ascetic or Brahmin or Deva or Mara or Brahma or by anyone in the world. If, monks, the Brahmin Unaba were to die at this time, there is no fetter bound by which he might come again to this world. That's the end of the sutta. There's no fetter bound by which he might come again to this world. That means he won't be reborn as a human being anymore. That means he's an anagamin. Maybe he has been listening to the Buddha's teachings so that he understood the Dhamma, and probably he had the 4 jhanas. That's why the Buddha says that he is an anagamin. So here the 5 faculties, eye, ear, tongue, body and mind, they are separate from each other, but they have shelter in the mind. The mind controls all these 5. And then the mind takes shelter in sati, recollection. And sati takes shelter or refuge in liberation. And liberation takes refuge in Nibbana. The next sutta, 48.43. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Saketa in the Anjana Grove, in the deer park. There, the Blessed One addressed the monks thus: "Monks, is there a method of exposition by means of which the 5 faculties become the 5 powers, and the 5 powers become the 5 faculties?" Venerable Sir, our teachings are rooted in the Blessed One, guided by the Blessed One. Take recourse in the Blessed One. It would be good if the Blessed One would clear up the meaning of this statement. Having heard it from him, the monks will remember. And the Buddha said, "There is a method of exposition, monks, by means of which the 5 faculties become the 5 powers, and the 5 powers become the 5 faculties." And what is it? And what is that method of exposition? That which is the faculty of faith is the power of faith. That which is the power of faith is the faculty of faith. That which is the faculty of energy is the power of energy. That which is the power of energy is the faculty of energy. That which is the faculty of recollection is the power of recollection. That which is the power of recollection is the faculty of recollection. That which is the faculty of concentration is the power of concentration. That which is the power of concentration is the faculty of concentration. That which is the faculty of wisdom is the power of wisdom. That which is the power of wisdom is the faculty of wisdom. Suppose, monks, there is a river which slants, slopes, and inclines towards the east, with an island in the middle. There is a method of exposition by means of which that river could be considered to have 1 stream. But there is a method of exposition by means of which it could be considered to have 2 streams. And what is the method of exposition by means of which that river can be considered to have 1 stream? Taking into account the water to the east of the island and the water to its west, this is the method of exposition by means of which that river could be considered to have 1 stream. And what is the method of exposition by means of which that river could be considered to have 2 streams, taking into account the water to the north of the island and the water to the south? This is the method of exposition by means of which that river could be considered to have 2 streams. So too, monks, that which is the faculty of faith is the power of faith. And similarly, that which is the power of faith is the faculty of faith, etc. It is, monks, because he has developed and cultivated these 5 faculties that a monk, by the destruction of the asavas in this very life, enters and dwells in the taintless liberation by mind, liberation by wisdom, realizing it for himself with direct knowledge. So here, the 5 faculties are exactly the 5 powers. So you can consider them actually to be one thing, just like that river. And basically it's one river, but when it comes across the island, it divides into 2. So you can consider it to be 2 separate streams or so. So here you can consider the 5 powers and the 5 faculties actually to be the same thing, one thing only. But on the other hand, you can also consider them to be 2. I guess you see, when you say 5 powers, when you possess them, then they are powers. And they are faculties in the sense maybe that which is to be practiced, that which is to be attained. But these kind of things are a bit technical, not so important. The next sutta is 48.45. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in the eastern park, in the mansion of Megara's mother. There, the Blessed One addressed the monks thus: "Monks, by having developed and cultivated how many faculties Does a monk who has destroyed the asavas declare final knowledge thus?